Hi guys, and welcome to my channel, Crochet with Diane. This is part 2 of the crochet bucket hat tutorial. If you missed part 1, please click on the link in the description and it will take you straight there. In this video, we're moving on to crocheting the brim of the hat. So keep watching and happy crocheting. So here we are at the end of round 22, and we are now going to move on to working the brim. And what I've done so far is I have switched colours back to the white. You can continue in the grey or whatever colour combination you have chosen to do, but I've switched to the white, and I've not changed, if you've noticed, I've not changed my hook. It's just I've switched to a larger handle, size 4.5 crochet hook. Now for this round we are going to be working into the front loop only. I will just quickly show that to you if you're unfamiliar with what I mean. So, and this is with the right side facing you. So you've got all your nice star stitches facing you. You'll be working into the front loop from this perspective. So each stitch has 2 loops on it, this back loop and this front loop, the front loop as from the front. So there's the back loop and there's the front loop. So we are going to be working into the front loop, these front loops here, just for this round. So to start, chain 2, and the stitch pattern is 4 6 loop star stitches followed by 2 5 loop star stitches, and I'll show you what that looks like. So start by popping your hook into that second chain that you've just made and pull up a loop. So that's 2 loops on your hook. Then work a stitch into this one here, keeps the seam nice and tight. Pull up a loop. Then now is where we start working into that front loop. So see the two loops there? We're working into this front loop. Put your hook in there and pull up a loop. And again into that front loop, pull up a loop. So you've got 3, 4, 5. So you want one more. Pull up a loop. Yarn over. Pull through all 6 loops. Yarn over and chain stitch. Now a 6 loop star stitch is exactly what you've been doing here. It's the 5 loop star stitch is what's slightly different. So we're going to do 4 of these. So start by starting the usual way into that eye of the star stitch, pull up a loop, and again working into that front loop only. If you can, even on this one, pull up a loop, and another one into the front loop only, pull up another one. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one more. That's 6 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 6 loops. yarn over and chain stitch. Let's make another one. There we go. Sometimes this one's a little bit fiddly to get in the front loop, but take your time. There we got 6, 3, 4, 5, 6 loops on the hook and yarn over, pull through all 6 and then chain stitch. So we have 3 star stitches there. We want 4 of these 6 loop star stitches. Six loops on your hook and pull through and chain stitch. So now we're going to be making 2 5 loop star stitches. So that is exactly as it sounds. We want to pull up 5 loops onto your hook. So put your hook into there and you've got 2 loops. Hook into the next one as usual. 3, 4, and into the front loop only, and you have 5 loops on your hook. Then we yarn over, pull through all 5 loops, yarn over and chain stitch. And now the second one, hook in, pull up, you've got 2 loops on your hook. You want another one, another one, and another one. So you've got 5 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 5 loops on your hook, yarn over and make your chain stitch. Here's where your stitch markers are coming in handy. And if you don't have a lot of stitch markers, if you've got a bunch of hair grips, they work just as well. You just pop them through, and we're using the stitch marker into the second of the 2 5 loop star stitches. So just pop it through that eye of the star stitch, and that will become apparent why we need those on the next round. So from now on, the stitch pattern, it calls now for another 4 6 loop star stitches. So working into that eye of the star stitch, don't worry about the stitch marker, just work around it. Put your hook in there, and pull up a loop. Now we're back onto a 6 loop star stitch. 3, 4, 5 and 6. Yarn over, pull through all of those loops and chain. So we want to do 3 more of these. That's 2. That's 3 and one more. So that's 2 loops, 3 loops, 4 loops, 5 loops and 6 loops. Yarn over, pull through all 6 and chain stitch. So when you've done 4 6 loop star stitches, then we're going to do 2 5 loop star stitches. Hook in, pull up a loop, hook in, pull up a loop, and again, so that you've got 5 loops on your hook. Then we yarn over, pull through 5 loops, chain stitch, and we do 2 of these. So again, pull up a loop, pull up a loop, pull up a loop, and one more. That's 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the 5 loops, yarn over and chain stitch, and then try not to forget, into the second 5 loop star stitch, pop in your stitch marker. So that is your pattern repeat all the way around this round. First round of your brim is 4 6 loop star stitches, and then 2 5 loop star stitches, and then again 4 6 loop star stitches, 2 5 loop star stitches. Repeat all the way around. And if you haven't already, which I haven't, pop in a stitch marker at the beginning of your round. If you pop it into the bottom of your stitches rather than the top, you'll know the difference. So continue with this first round of your brim, and I will meet you back here. So coming up to the end of this round 1 of the brim, as you can see, I've been putting in the stitch markers in the second 5 loop star stitch all the way around. So now we're coming up to the end of this round. I want to continue to make this seam as good as possible. Now this means that your last stitch here, we're going to put an extra loop in. Let me show you what I mean. So this one is a, there's your 5 loop. So 1, 2, 3. This, we're on a 4th 6 loop star stitch. So work the star stitch as normal. So that's 5, and then in a normal star stitch you would stop there because you've got 6 loops on the hook. But if we do, we're going and then slip stitch, we're going to have quite a bit of a gap here and the seam's going to be obvious. So if you just pop in another, just pop it into the very bottom of this chain here. Pop it through both loops because we're trying to pull the seam nice and tight, and pull up another loop onto your hook. It doesn't matter that it's 7 loops. pull through, yarn over and pull through all of those loops on your hook, and then chain stitch. So that now when you slip stitch into the top of this star stitch here, put your hook in and pull as tightly as you can, keeping it nice and snug. As you can see, no gaps, and it keeps the whole thing nice and snug, working that seam as best we can. So now we are on to round 24, or if you like, round 2 of your brim. We're going to chain 1, and we are going to turn our work around. So we're working back the other way. And the same as before, we're going to be working into the eye of each star stitch. So for every 6 loop star stitch, so in the first, in every 6 loops star stitch, we're going to put 2 half double crochets. So let me show you. Here's the first one. So you put in 2 there, 2 half double crochets, and then again in the next one, 2 half double crochets, and the next one, 2 half double crochets, and the next one, 2 half double crochets. And this is where your stitch markers are coming into play now, is instead of you having to count again, which can be difficult with all these different numbers of stitches, you know that when you've come to your stitch marker, you're going to put 3 half double crochets in to the next 2 eye of the star stitch. And this is the reason we're using our stitch markers. Otherwise it gets a little bit overwhelming trying to count 4 and then 2. So take out your stitch marker, and in the next 2 eye of the star stitch, turn it over to check if you're not sure, place 3 half double crochets in each one. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Then straight away into the next one, place 3 half double crochets. That's 1, 2, and 3. And having these 3 half double crochets in every 5th and 6th star stitch is what gives you your increase. So after you've done your 3 half double crochets here, the next 4 we're placing 2 half double crochets all the way up to your next stitch marker. So 2 half double crochets in there, then 2 half double crochets in the next, some more wool. 2 half double crochets into the next, and the next, and you'll see the next one and the next, do apologise. Two half double crochets in there, and you'll see the next one has a stitch marker in, so you know for the next 2 either star stitches you're going to place 3 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, let it slip off your hook there, and 3. And the next one. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And off we go again with 2 half double crochets in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, and then till you reach your stitch marker, and from the one in the stitch marker and the next one, the next 2, you'd put 3 half double crochets, and then you've got your 4 here. You put 2 half double crochets, and that is the stitch pattern for this round. You can see it increasing here. Carry on all the way around, and I'll meet you at the beginning. You get right back around to the beginning. So I've made on my way all the way around to the beginning again, and you can see that it's creating the brim, sorry, of the hat. So to finish off this round, we've put our last 2 half double crochets into this stitch there, and we're going to slip stitch right into the in between those first 2 half double crochets that we made at the beginning of this round. So at this point I am going to change colours. I'll just quickly show you. So you would slip stitch, put your hook in there, and again keeping it as snug and tight as you can. When in your slip stitch, you would just slip stitch to finish like that. I'm actually changing colours here, so what I'm going to do is snip off the white and start the stitch like that. Put your hook in, grab the next colour, the grey, and finish the slip stitch using the next colour. Then just turn it over, and this is the 2 ends. Pull these 2 ends nice and snug to keep that seam as invisible as possible. just do an overhand knot. And there we go. We've changed colour. So we are on round 25, or if you like, round 3 of your brim. So we need to chain 2 and turning our work so that it's back facing the right way up. Let's just grab some yarn and get your stitch markers ready again. You'll need them again in this round. So for this one, it's an increase round again, and we are going to do six loop star stitches. So just move this out of the way. So you start by putting your hook into that second chain from the hook and pull up a loop. Now we're not working into the front loop only. We are going to be working straight into the stitch on both loops. So put your hook in the next one and pull up a loop, and in the next one and pull up a loop, and the next one pull up a loop until you have 6 loops on your hook. That's 5. One more, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 6 loops and then chain stitch. And we're going to do 6 of these. Just like that. So go ahead and make 6 loop star stitches. So after you've made 6 loop star stitches, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're going to do 2 5 loop star stitches, which is pulling up 5 loops instead of 6. And again, we're not working into the front loop only anymore. Just work straight into the stitch, pulling up a loop, straight under both loops of that stitch. That's 5 loops, yarn over, and then pull through, and then chain stitch, and then another 5 loop star stitch. And as we did on the last time, on the second 5 loop star stitch, we then get our stitch marker and pop it into that second 5 loop star stitch. And that is your stitch repeat for this row. It's 6 loop star stitches, and then 2 5 loop star stitches. So your next ones would be 6 loop star stitches, and then 2 5 loop star stitches. Continue all the way around, and I will meet you back here. So we've worked all the way around and slip stitched into the very first, top of that first star stitch. Now you might find that on that last lot of six loop star stitches, 1, 2, 3, for me there's only enough room to do 3, but just do as many as you can along there. So for the next round, chain 1 and turn your work. And again, we are going to be making 2 half double crochets into your 6 loop star stitch, followed by 3 half double crochets into the 5 loop star stitch. So just to show you, yarn over, find your first eye of the star stitch, which is this one here, and put in 2 half double crochet stitches, and then straight into the next one, 2 half double crochet stitches, and keep doing that until you reach your first stitch marker. And when you've reached your first stitch marker, you know that for the next 2 eye of the star stitches, you place 3 half double crochets. So that's 1, 2, and 3, and again in the next stitch, the next eye of the star stitch. That's 1, 2, and 3. And then you continue in the next 6 eye of the star stitches, place 2 half double crochet stitches. That's 1 and 2, and then straight into the next eye of the star stitch, place 2 half double crochet stitches. And keep going, placing 2 half double crochets until you get to your next stitch marker, and then in the next 2 of those eye star stitches, place 3 half double crochets, and repeat all the way around. So we've gone all the way around, putting in your half double crochets into your star stitches and slip stitch to finish. And you can see the rim of the hat beginning to take shape. Now obviously if you want a shorter rim, you can stop here, make a perfectly nice hat. But we're going to carry on. And the next round is chain 2 and turn your work, and this rose pattern, stitch pattern, is going to be 8 lots of 6 loop star stitch followed by 2 5 loop star stitch. So it's increased in the amount of 6 loop star stitch. So we'll chain 2, hook into that second chain from the hook, pull up a loop, and again we're working through both loops of the stitch. So you've got 6 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 6 loops and chain stitch. And again. Six loops on your hook. Pull through 6 loops and chain stitch. So go ahead and make 8 in total, 8 6 loop star stitches. So after you've done 8 6 loop star stitch, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 now make 2 5 loop star stitches. So that's 2 loops, 3 4 5, yarn over, and one more 5 loop star stitch. And as before, in the second 5 loop star stitch, pop your stitch marker in. And that is your stitch repeat for this row. 8 6 loop star stitches followed by 2 excuse me, 2 5 loop star stitches all the way around till you go back to here. Okay, so on to the next round. Chain 1 and turn your work. And the same as before, we are going to place 2 half double crochets in each 6 loop star stitch, and then 3 half double crochets into the 5 loop star stitch. So yarn over and find your first eye of the star stitch, which is here, and place in 2 half double crochets into that same stitch. The same as before, the only difference is that you've got more 6 loop star stitches. And then straight away into the next eye of the star stitch, 2 half double crochets in there, 2 half double crochets in the next. Keep going until you get to your first stitch marker, putting in your 2 half double crochets, and here at your stitch marker you know that the following two eye of the star stitches you're going to put 3 half double crochets in each. So that's 2 and 3. So that's 3 half double crochets in those last 2 eye of the star stitches, And now you know for the following 8, or until you get to your stitch marker, you will place 2 half double crochets in each and every eye of the star stitches. Continue like that all the way around until you get back to the beginning of that round again. And to finish the round, find your first 2 half double crochet stitches, slip stitch to finish, and then you would snip off your yarn here and then yarn over and just pull that all the way through and snug it down nice and tight. Then grab a darning needle and just take a minute or two to sew in all your ends. Bring this one, weave in and out of the stitches. And just finish off your ends nice and tidy. And you would snip off your end there. And so finish weaving in your ends and snip off any excess yarn there, and it is your beautiful floppy rimmed